Right, hello again guys. If you have an interest in crypto and are based in the UK, you've probably heard of ITP Corporation. It's supposedly a miracle AI trading bot that can make 4% returns daily at the click of a button. Lots of people are claiming to have great success with the platform, allowing them to make huge returns on their investments, but the reality is far different. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. ITP is 100% a scam and 100% a Ponzi scheme. If you believe otherwise, you must be pretty dumb, and you probably deserve to lose all of your money when it inevitably collapses. So, I first heard about ITP when a mate of mine sent me a voice note talking about it in our group chat, and immediately it raised some red flags. Throughout the experience I've gained in running my own business and investing in general, I've developed a pretty strong understanding of finance and what constitutes as a decent rate of return. If investing in stocks, 7% yearly would be seen as a good return. If you're more active with your money in a business, it's much higher. However, the higher the ROI, the more risk is attached, or the more specialized knowledge is required. One thing is for certain, high ROIs does not come easy. Now, the 4% daily that ITP claim would see £100 turn into over 1.4 million in the span of just 365 days. Imagine that. Imagine if you put £1,000 in or £10,000 in instead. You'd pretty much be set for life, right? All you have to do is tap a button on your screen and you will make £1.4 million a year. And of course, these almost impossible returns that are guaranteed, by the way, are totally legit, and ITP are regulated by the FCA or the SEC, right? Wrong. ITP are totally unregulated, which again is a huge red flag. If Coinbase and other crypto platforms are now regulated, why isn't ITP? Now, let's forget for a minute that ITP are totally unregulated, and let's forget that they offer practically impossible returns. I'm going to ask one simple logical question. If ITP are able to turn £100 into £1.4 million by returning 4% daily, then what do they need you for? Why wouldn't they just carry on investing their own money, which would very quickly grow into billions at that rate? As a business, they basically have the secret formula. They can essentially print money at will, and they would make far more just hitting that quantize button themselves than charging a couple of percent in withdrawal fees. Now, when taking a trip down to the ITP website to try and find out more about the company, I was shocked by how amateur the whole thing looked. Their website is full of nonsense and broken English. They claim to have been founded in America in 2013, but the entire website reads like a fella in China just learning how to use ChatGPT for the first time. I dove deeper into the website and looked at the source code, where I could find code which was written in Chinese. This tells me ITP isn't being honest and they have strong ties to East Asia. So just this quick initial research shows me that ITP has all of the telltale signs of a Ponzi scheme. When asking users how the trades are executed and how they make money, I get the usual nonsense technobabble answers about how ITP uses quantitative trading and AI to maximize returns. When you actually listen to what they're saying, it's all nonsense. However, it would be impossible to get the kinds of gains promised by ITP. I've previously dabbled with AI trading bots and they've been pretty consistent. They are able to secure small gains, but the reality is, if such a trading bot ever existed offering the returns that ITP claim, retail investors like us would be the last people on earth to ever get to use them. So, it looks like a Ponzi, it smells like a Ponzi, and it most definitely is a Ponzi. Defenders of the scheme start getting into semantics about what a Ponzi is and what a pyramid scheme actually is. They argue that you don't need to invite other people to join. However, ITP does have an affiliate system in place. With level 1 being the entry point for all new joiners, you make 2.5% daily and you can put in a maximum of $200. This goes all the way up to level 6, where you need to recruit 150 people, allowing you to put in between $250,000 and $500,000 and make that sweet 4% daily return. Higher tiers also benefit from lower withdrawal fees, so there are plenty of incentives to get your mates on board, just like a Ponzi scheme. It's crystal clear that ITP is running a Ponzi. Right now they're in the growth stage, where they are attracting plenty of new people, putting their money into the platform. However, once new investors joining slows down, eventually the money will all dry up and the Ponzi will collapse. It's almost comical how similar this scheme is to that of Charles Ponzi's in the early 20th century. Mr. Ponzi himself managed to convince investors that they could get 50% return on investment within 90 days by purchasing something known as an International Postal Reply Coupon. To prove legitimacy, Ponzi paid out the earlier investors, using the funds from later investors. The scheme then grew, and as new investors were lured in by the success of early investors, they thought that they were all going to get rich. Eventually, the scheme collapsed, but not before Ponzi was able to take off with several £million from other investors. I expect that any point within the next 12 months, withdrawals from ITP will stop and investors' money will disappear. My advice to those who have invested is to pull out your initial investment as soon as possible. Nobody can predict when the scheme collapses, and there's no doubt that you might even be able to escape with some profit. However, ITP is totally unsustainable and its collapse is inevitable. I'm sure some people might get offended by me talking about ITP for what it actually is. However, as mentioned at the start of the video, I won't have any sympathy for those who fall for the scam. As investors, you're too quick to let your greed get the better of you if you fall for a scam like this. I hope you've enjoyed the video and found it somewhat informative. When ITP does eventually crash, I will do an update video on it, and I hope to catch you all next time.